And we are here. We are back with Battle of the Americas, of the Americas number 52. I'm of course Live VIP, your host and your caster for now. I will of course later be joined by El Padrino himself, Ducklings, the organizer of this tournament. But before we get there, we've got some players here, some that we are quite used to and others that we have not seen in a long time, and I feel like I say that every week now. Every week, like, we have some returning players come back, and it's always great to see. So we'll see how they do. As spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Blackburn ALE, once again representing his new team, we have the Peruvian Terran player. He is Tavo on Team Exxon. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Blackburn, we have a face that we have not seen at all this year. At all. I think the last time we saw him compete was in LatAm Dorada, which was our Peruvian only tournament. So that's when he came out of the woodwork. It's been a very long time. He used to be on New Angels. Now he appears to be teamless. It is the green Protoss player, also hailing from the land of Peru. It is DestroyerTT. Just wow. It's just great to see him back. There was a period where DestroyerTT was one of the best players in Peru. Specifically, it was last year, before the rise of the Terrans, before Neo and Tavo and Chaos Fate really started rising up. It was kind of between DestroyerTT and Zions. So they were the two top Protoss players in Peru. You could argue they still are the two top Protoss players. But DestroyerTT has been on a bit of a hiatus. He has, during this off season, he has taken a break from StarCraft. But it's great to see him competing again. I honestly did not expect this. But I keep saying this every week. A lot of it does come down to the fact that DreamHack is what, 2 weeks away, if that, the DreamHack qualifiers. So yeah, they are kind of sneaking up on us, and I mean, this is really what everyone is working towards. Like, all the players from every region, DreamHack is the go-to event. So it's great to see him back competing in these weeklies. But we'll see how he plays out, or how he's able to perform, because while he's been gone, Tavo's been here, right? Tavo has been here consistently competing, consistently improving as well, joining new teams. Originally he was on Rebirth, now he's on Team Exxon. He recently got picked up, and again, he's just such a good player nowadays. I would say that he's still around like mid-tier amongst the other Latin American players, even though he can take it to some of the other top-tier players like the Zerglord and Paco Mike and stuff like that. He still isn't like, a favorite or like, able to consistently compete against them. So yeah, we'll see. This is going to be a real test here for DestroyerTT. I'm also curious to see, like, has he been keeping up with the meta, right? Like, has he been watching a lot of StarCraft? I know he hasn't been playing much, but like, has he still been keeping up that way? How much has he laddered, right, with the new maps? I don't know. So far, we do see he's going across the map with the depths. He does bypass the small force of Tavo, and it looks like he will be able to shade into the natural base and get some SCV kills. Oh boy, this is quite a bit of damage, especially because there's nothing here at home to defend, only Marines, and Marines are not what you want against Adepts. At the same time, we do have a Hellion and a Reaper getting into the mineral line, dealing an equal amount of damage. Honestly, I'm surprised. 4 probes going down. Oof. And eventually this will be cleaned up. In the end, 6 SCVs fall, and I think 2 mules, maybe 1 mule. And in the end, 4 pros went down. So pretty interesting how this played out. I think what's important and what's great for Tavo is that he did force the Oracle to be used defensively, so it doesn't have that much energy to use across the map to use on those SCVs in the mineral lines. So yeah, I do think that Tavo came out a little bit ahead here. Sure, he didn't kill 2 workers, but oh god. Get out of here, Destroyer. Almost runs into the Marines that were ready and waiting. Obviously, the Oracle revealed itself as well to the Hellions, so nicely done there by Tavo, able to deal all that damage and get a bunch of scouting information and force the Oracle to be used at home. kind of win-win all around. And we do see he is opening up with a 1-1-1 going for a Banshee. Thankfully for DestroyerTT, he scouted this. He went in, he saw the production, he saw the tech lab researching, so he knows 100% that it is Banshees, so he's preparing at home, he's working on his Phoenixes, he has his Oracle for Revelation as well, so it's going to be difficult for this Banshee to really deal too much damage. You could argue, you know, the Banshee, it dealt inadvertent damage by keeping everything at home, because, you know, DestroyerTT is a little bit afraid, but at the same time, like, this was a big investment, so it's going to be difficult for this Banshee to really deal too much damage. It does get spotted by the Observer as well, so DestroyerTT should respond soon, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Look at him go. He saw the Banshee move out, so he knows that, okay, the main isn't going to be under threat. It's going to be my natural or my third base, and he's hunting the Banshee right now, and he should be able to find it. There are 2 Banshees that are going to be diving in. Oh, but he misses it. He's patrolling all around it, and he's missing it. Okay. He turns around. It looks like he should run into them, and he does barely. Does he spot the shimmer? No, he didn't spot the shimmer, and the Banshees make it past the Phoenixes. They do get into the middle line, and they will kill some of these workers before they get picked off. Get away. Oh god, the Banshees will get picked, they will get cleaned up. Unfortunately, only 4 probes for 2 Banshees with Cloak. Not ideal, so solid defense there by DestroyerTT, able to hunt everything down. He was on point with his scouting as well. He knew kind of the general area of the Banshees, and in the end he did find them. He did kill them before they dealt too much damage, and now he has map control, and now he's free to finally move out into these bases and deal some damage. He has to be careful. There are a lot of Marines. Despite that, he does get a single SCV. Nicely done. Doesn't take much damage on these Phoenixes either. They can recharge their shields. So yeah, at the moment, DestroyerTT, I'm impressed. He's keeping up with Tavo. Like, he's like, yo, it's like riding a bike, you know? Like, I may have been gone for a couple of months, but I can come back and I am still competitive here. Oh boy. And as all this has been happening, he has been switching his tech. He is working towards those Colossus as well. Oh boy, and this is a little bit scary for Tavo. Tavo, he's getting ready to move out. He does have 3 tanks, which is impressive, but for the most part, he has Marines. He doesn't really have any Marauders with his army. So because of that, his army is quite fragile. It's quite squishy, if you will. So Colossus are gonna have a field day with this. It's gonna be I'm concerned for the buffer force for Tavo. I feel like it's not long for this world, and then once they're gone, you know, Charge Loss can get on top of the tanks. To be fair, Charge isn't done yet. It is nearing the halfway point, so it isn't the worst situation here for Tavo. Tavo can hit a pretty nice timing before Charge is complete, where maybe he can deal some damage here. He has to be careful though. He has to be careful and avoid this stasis ward. As right now he's working through these rocks. It looks like he wants to hit this third base. Again, there's only a single shield battery and 4 zealots here. He does scan, he confirms the army. The Colossus are in the natural, they're not too far away, so they will eventually engage with this. But 4 tanks, mate, that's big. I mean 5 tanks, sorry. Oh my god. And yeah, he just gives up. He just gives up on the base. He's like, you know what? 5 tanks sieged up? I'm just not gonna have any of that. I'm good, thank you. Also, it was 4. I confused the Cyclone for a tank. He pushes on forward, and with all these zealots, wow, and the Phoenixes, he picks up every single tank. And he just cleans this up so easily. Unfortunately, he did still lose his base, which you could argue maybe he could have engaged a little bit sooner to try and save the base, just with how handily he just shut this down. But yeah, this is what I was concerned about with the majority of the army being Marines. Like, they're so, oh god, they're just so yeah, fragile. I said it before, I'll say it again. And DestroyerTT, he just mowed his way through everything. All the tanks went down. Losing 4 tanks like that is huge. And now Tavo, I'm worried for his life right now. He's trying to get some bunkers up. He's trying to work on some Sim City to help against the zealots. There's a sensor tower as well, and he does see the army rotating around. But oh god, he's gonna be able to get around the army, get on top of the tanks as well. Oh god, as one tank almost walks into his death, it gets picked up anyway. The Phoenix is still alive, still doing so much for the army of DestroyerTT, and oh boy, we'll see what Tavo's gonna be able to do here. He does pick off one Colossus, which was pretty impressive. Now he has a decent Marauder count where he can afford to, or he can actually accomplish some of those feats. And losing one Colossus to DestroyerTT, he's like, nah man, I'm good, I'm going back home. Oh, and Tavo holds. I was legit worried for him. I do want to commend DestroyerTT. He still kept his Phoenixes alive. Quickly looking at the units lost, he hasn't lost a single Phoenixes, and they've been doing so much for him in every single one of these fights, always being able to pick up those tanks. And the fact that he hasn't needed to rebuild them, he's actually making more, which I don't know if that's necessary right now, but I mean, he deems it so, and oh boy, I worry for DestroyerTT, especially after that first push. That first push was such a big investment. Going for a drop like this is risky just because there are Phoenixes out on the map. Thankfully for Tavo, the Phoenixes are at the third base, so he will be able to sneak into the main. What can he get here? There is some tech structures. He can get the Templar Archives. Storm has already completed those, so he won't be able to delay any of those upgrades, but you know, denying some production, it's not bad. There it is. He does focus down the Templar Archives. Oh, but the problem is escaping from here is going to be difficult, especially with these Phoenixes. He picks up. No, he's going through the slow zones. Can he get away? Can he get away? Oh my god. He loses both medevacs, and now these Marines are stranded, as they are on an island. They have to be picked up by someone else. At the same time, we do have a drop here towards the north. Recall is forced to be used. 8 workers went down. Ooh, even a couple of Widowmine shots going off, and it looks like Tavo should be able to escape here. I say that, but the Phoenixes once again show up to shut down these medevacs. Mate, these Phoenixes just make it so difficult for Tavo to really accomplish much here. Oh, can he get a High Templar? Oh my god. Oh my god. That's actually pretty big. Yo, can he get 2 High Templar? What, this Marauder? He's gonna get 2. Wow. Oh my god. At the same time, I love how these Marines, they actually didn't get picked up. They had to be forced to mow down those rocks. At the same time, Widowmine did go off here to the top right. 3 workers went down. DestroyerTT still has a pretty impressive army. Again, with these Phoenixes, you can just completely shut down these tanks, but what's important, I love this, he incorporated Widow Mines. There are Widow Mines all over this army, so if the Phoenixes do dive in, they will be taken down by those Widow Mines, and the tanks will be able to be a little bit more free. I say that there aren't any tanks here. Regardless, it will help against the Zealots as well. Ooh, the Widow Mine finally gets picked off. At the same time, Storm drops. Oh my god, Storms all over the mineral line here. 14 SCVs go down, and the mules as well. I honestly, I assumed it was going to be Zealots. I was like, oh yeah, there's a Zealot drop coming, whatever, it's fine. I don't think Tavo was even expecting that either. Oh god, the Storm drops, Jesus Christ. Thankfully, Tavo, like, he's still not, like, he is down in workers, but it's not the worst thing in the world right now. He's still okay, he's still keeping up. 3-3 is about to finish up, so he can hit a nice timing here. We'll see if maybe he's able to catch the army off guard. It's going to be amazing if he actually manages to get on top of these High Templar. Ooh, he is out of position though, so the third base will be forced to be lifted up. Oh god, more SCVs are going down. A Ghost is going down for free as well. But the Colossus are exposed, and one will fall. Storm does land. It's not the best connection. Unfortunately, the Widow Mines, they are all bunched up, and they're actually not going to be a part of this fight. Forces a recall. Oh boy, but I heard the swipes. DTs are in the main, so are Zealots. This is so key for DestroyerTT. He was kind of caught out, a little bit out of position, right? He was forced to recall, but because of this drop into the main base, he's able to buy himself time. He's able to recuperate across the map, kind of regain himself, have a little bit of room to breathe, and Tavo is just scrambling to defend his bases. And now Tavo, he's down to 30. He's down to half the worker count of his opponent. He still has a very scary army though. And I hope that, here we go, he is moving out. I hope that he does use this. He still has this advantage going his way. And he could win a decisive fight and then take the game from there. It doesn't matter that he may not have the economy to sustain himself for much longer. And hopefully he realizes that, and we may end up in a base trade. As the third base once again is forced to be lifted up, and DestroyerTT is actually turning back home. This is really important. He isn't 100% committing to the base trade. He's setting zealots in and a couple of gateway units, not the biggest of deals. We do see Tavo, he's going to be taking out the top right-hand base. We've got plenty of ghosts for EMPs, got plenty of Widowmines, plenty of Vikings as well, and 3-3 is completed. The disruptor shot takes out a Widowmine, takes out 2 Widowmines, I believe. Meanwhile, there are 2 other disruptors and plenty of storms. It's going to be all about the EMPs trying to deny them. The disruptor shots go off. Oh my god, Mosi taking out the zealots. Ay, DestroyerTT, not ideal at all. Storms land, but they don't hit anything. EMPs do land though. Every single High Templar is out of energy, forced to turn into Archons. And with no storms and with no Purification Novas, mate, Tavo can just stim forward. Oh god, and the Novas, they are not ready. 2 disruptors go down, only 1 disruptor remaining, and the disruptor is going to be picked off as well. No more AoE, only Colossus, and Colossus, they're dead. But GG gets called. Oh god, Tavo, I thought he may have had enough, but he ran out of bio. He only had Vikings in the sky. DestroyerTT just barely had enough. I thought it felt like he was trading very well, but the problem is, we were talking about it, like, because of his economy, he was all in. Like, he had to end the game with what he had, and I guess I was not really respecting those Colossus enough, because those Colossus were just going to town. I didn't really keep an eye on the Vikings. I don't know if the Vikings were fighting the entire time, or if they were kind of hanging back with the main army, and coming in afterwards, but maybe a little bit of mismicro there with the overall unit composition. But wow, what a game one. Alright, now we are getting ready for game number 2. Just letting them know. So we get set up. Meanwhile, as we can see on the screen right now, the bracket is being updated. Ryan is slowly working his way through the brackets, and honestly, in the lower half of the bracket, Ryan should be able to make it to the semis. Like, it doesn't look like there are any big names to stop him. In the semis, he will most likely face the winner of the series. Tavo and DestroyerTT, like, they are the 2 big names here. It's unfortunate that they have to face each other in the first round, but sometimes that is how it goes. Oh boy. And I wouldn't be surprised if this goes all the way to the ace match. Like, if Tavo just, like, tightened up on his, like, base defense a little bit more, then obviously the game would have been able to keep going. He was kind of forced into that big attack. Oof. But we'll see. We'll see how we go here, as we are leading into game 2. And it will be on Jagannatha LE, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Peruvian Terran. He is purple, representing Team Exxon. It is Tavo. And spawning in the top right, we have the Peruvian Protoss player returning after a long hiatus, but showing us that he's still very solid indeed. It is DestroyerTT. Again, it's great to have him back. It's great to have more competitive players here in the Latin American region, especially competitive Protoss players. We always praise Paco Mike and we always praise Shakti as the top 2 Protoss players in the Latin American region, but that's because, like, the other ones are a little bit more inactive, like DestroyerTT, like Zion's as well. I haven't seen Zion's compete in months either. Maybe I've seen him maybe once or twice this year, but yeah, like, they've both kind of been MIA. Yeah, it is a bit of a shame. The other one, of course, being Turkey Dano. I haven't seen much of him either. Hopefully they all come out for the DreamHack qualifiers, but again, a lot of it kind of depends on when are they going to start practicing again before those qualifiers. We see DestroyerTT's here. What about Zion's? You know, what about the others? Meanwhile, this game is picking up and Tavo's being a little bit annoying across the map, you know, throwing down an NG bay here at the natural base of DestroyerTT, just delaying it for as much as possible. I love it. Likewise, I imagine DestroyerTT wants to be as annoying as he can with his own probe, whether it's with a pylon block or, you know, just harassing the workers like this. Oh, but a Marine does come out. Pretty interesting decision here. Tavo's done this a couple of times, I think Neo as well, where they do skip their Reaper to begin with, and instead they do open up with Marines instead. I mean, it does, like, there are like pros and cons to it, right? But he is taking a little bit of a risk in that he, without going for that Reaper, he does forego some scouting information, right? If his opponent was being cheeky, then he would have a hard time finding out about it. Thankfully though, DestroyerTT for the most part is playing pretty standard. Despite the natural being delayed so much, he didn't throw down like a fast Twilight Council or anything crazy like that. Oh, and once again, opening up with a Stargate. We saw how well he did last game. He may not have dealt, actually he barely dealt any harassing damage with his Oracle and with his Phoenixes, but the map control that he gained was absolutely, it was key there to DestroyerTT's victory. Oh my god, speaking of key, the Adept actually sneaks into the main base. Oh no. Oh no, the SCV! Oh god! The CC is being delayed right now. Tavo, he's stuck on one base. Something else that's kind of interesting is that the starport is being proxied, so he does want to go for a Hellion drop of some kind, but he gets scouted. Like, unfortunately, he wasn't looking at his front wall, and now the Adept sees everything. He sees how delayed the natural base is. He saw the 1-1. You can assume that there is a starport somewhere on the map. He does have a probe out here kind of looking. He's checking all over the place actually. Unfortunately, he is missing where it actually is, as the medevac is being built. Unfortunately, there is a pretty big supply block. This is a, oh my god, this is a massive supply block. Like the deeper is only just now halfway done. Oh no. I mean, to be fair, a lot of that is because the CC was delayed, right? Like, once you finish the CC, then you get a bunch of supply, and normally things line up nicely. But because of that harassment, then Tavo was kind of messed up, and god, this drop is gonna be so delayed, and he gets scouted. Ah, ay ay ay, and 100%, like, right now, the drop should be going across the map. Like, if there was a supply block, if all these things didn't go wrong for Tavo, but oh god, it's all been spotted, and now there's an Oracle patrolling. There's a Phoenix patrolling. We have a Stalker as well. It's going to be very difficult to let this happen. So Tavo, he knows that he got spotted, right? Like, he knows that he has been scouted. So he has to try and you know, bear that in mind and try and find some damage anyway. So he doesn't go for the main base, which is far too obvious. He does circle around trying to get towards the natural base, but DestroyerTT, he's got units there as well. As I just mute and sneeze. Oh boy. And here we go. Tavo, instead he lands his Hellions here at the third base. Does take out a probe. Oh god, please don't commit. The Phoenixes, they do find the medevac. He should be able to save the Hellions, but he will lose this medevac. Ay ay ay. Rough start here from Tavo. He's working on this Raven, which is great. I'm really concerned that these Phoenixes are going to intercept the Raven. Get home, buddy. Get home as fast as you can. Oh boy. It looks like it will get home. The starport is on the way as well. The Phoenixes, they're going to be out here. They're going to be hunting for something. So he has to make sure he protects the Raven as best as he can. There are a couple of Marines on the ground and a Cyclone as well to help, you know, defend it. So it should be okay. The Phoenixes, they show themselves. They're focusing on the starport instead of going into a mineral line. Or into the bases, I should say. They do find some damage. 2 Marines get picked up for free. The rest of the Marines are on the way. Stim is not done, so there's no real way for them to really chase after these Phoenixes. But they do protect the starport. They do keep it alive. At the same time, the Hellions once again hit the third. Nothing here to hit. No probes whatsoever. Probes only now just being rotated in or being sent in, Maynarded. And here comes the Sky Toss. The Phoenixes dive in. SCVs are going down. Oh god, the Marines, they were out of position again. The Cyclone does show up, and we'll see if he does. No, he does not pick off one of the Phoenixes. Ay. 9 SCVs falling. Tavo, he's having such a rough time. I wouldn't be surprised if he just pulls the boys with this, to be honest. Like with the amount, with how behind Tavo is, but he's actually throwing down more production. Oh my god. Okay. He has a lot of faith in this push, to say the least. He's like, nah, mate, I can keep going from here. I can keep macroing. I believe. What's scary, though? Stim is still not done. Stim only just now started. I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if he intentionally got combat shields first instead of Stim. I kind of question that, to be honest. I feel like Stim is a little bit more valuable, but we'll see how he does. He's pushing on forward. Oh, the Raven, please use... Oh, no! The Raven got picked off before a single ability goes off, and Tavo goes back home. Ay. To be fair, even if the Raven used like an anti-armor missile, it would have been really difficult to do anything. Maybe a Matrix on the Colossus would have been enough, but there's three shield batteries, mate. Like, how do you break this? Oh god. And Tavo, he comes back home, and DestroyerTT sees him come back home as well because of the revelation. This is disastrous for Tavo. Maybe he can get ready for a second wave. That's what I'm hoping. Maybe he can hit a Stim timing. And maybe hope that Tavo is being a little bit too greedy. Tavo, he's expanding. He's taking a 4th base, right? He's working on his upgrades. If he does decide to throw down a bunch of production and tech up, maybe Tavo can catch him off guard. There's a bunch of maybes there, though. Like, you're relying on your opponent to slip up at that point. Maybe Tavo can make something happen there. Alternatively, he could try and go for a couple of drops. I love the positioning of these Widow Mines in case the Phoenixes dive in again, but at this point the Phoenixes have already paid for themselves. Oh no! The Hellions even get picked off. Solid question mark there by Tavo. He's like, mate, how did you find those Hellions? Map hack XD. Oh god, the faces just happen to be patrolling. Fácil. Te creo capaz. Maldito para. Que verga, mate. XD. So DestroyerTT is like, I'm map hacking Kappa, and Tavo's like, I believe you. Oh god. They are just joking with each other, but this is scary. Oh god. The army moves out. There's an observer there. It spots him. The army gets revelationed as well. Things are just not working out here for Tavo. Again, I'm surprised he's not pulling boys with this. He's taking a 3rd, mate. Oh my god. Okay, let's go. He's taking a 3rd. He's pushing on forward. There's 2 Colossus here. There's no more Ravens for any kind of Matrix. How do you break this? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 shield batteries on the way. 5 shield batteries. That's crazy. A maxed out army couldn't break this. Oh my god. Now Tavo's forced back, thankfully. Oh, okay, he saves his tanks, does pick them up with his medevacs, does back off, is rotating around towards the north. Meanwhile, DestroyerTT, he does back off as he sees the army move over in that direction. He's in between all his bases, ready to respond wherever he needs to. And the thing is, mate, you got 4 shield batteries at your 3rd, you got 5 at your 4th. Like, mate, you're solid. Oh, tags the army. At the same time, yo, we got a Marauder Force. We got a little bit of a drop here, hitting the 4th base. Now Tavo is trying to multi-prong, trying to pull DestroyerTT apart. And we'll see if it works out for him. We'll see if he manages to borrow those Widow Mines, and they do borrow. Ooh, Disruptor Shot doesn't hit the Widow Mines. The mines do go off. All the Zealots do go down. But there's just too much Protoss, mate. The Colossus, the Stalkers, the Immortals. There is far too much here, and DestroyerTT, he cleans everything up. Meanwhile, that drop did deal a decent amount of damage, like a bunch of pylons and shield batteries went down, but not a lot of workers, and the recall is used. This will get cleaned up as well. GG. DestroyerTT. takes the series 2-0. Wow. Just wow. Going into this, I was like, hey, it's been a while since we've casted DestroyerTT. Let's see how he does, you know. He'll probably get knocked down in the first round, but, you know, I want to cast him anyway. I did not expect him to 2-0 Tavo. My god. Him really showing that, hey, the old guard, you know, they still got it, right? You can be on a hiatus for 4 months and still just dive back in and take down some of these more consistent players. GG, well played. DestroyerTT moves on.